Hey guys, Doug here again with another in our 1x1 series, and today we're taking an old classic and we're turning it into the 1x1. We did a little stint with the dowel carving, and it was resoundingly asked for to take it to the 1x1. So there's our little owl on a 1x1, and there's the original from years ago. So that's what we're up to today. But before we do that, let's thank our sponsor, Wood Carving Illustrated, for sponsoring this video. As they do, it's a great magazine for wood carvers, new and old, and it's just a good magazine. And they've given me a little promo code LINKER, all caps LANKER. So if you're interested in that, check out the description at woodcarvingillustrated.com, and they'll give you some extra little goodies with that promo code. But without further ado, let's jump into our little owl carving. As you can see, I've gotten a little carried away with the owl carving in this one. I started just oiling them, and I kind of started liking just the oil look for that quick little whittle. But you can see I took some of the bases here. I made like a chimney, and I got a plain one here. Added some little colors. Nice little guys here. This one here I got a little artsy fartsy. This was supposed to be more like having a little guy over here chiseling a little owl out of a piece of stone. So something different, just something to give you some ideas. I'm going to use a piece of basswood today, but you can also use woods like butternut, pine. This is this is the basswood, and this is aspen. And I've really started liking the aspen. You can see how white aspen is compared to oiled basswood. But anyway, there's something else too I whipped up the other day for when you buy those strips of 1x1. If you want to make sure that you want to cut all these ends square, and if you don't have a saw, just whip up a little straight edge. Just take a little saw. Real cheap way to keep your hobby tiny and carryable, but does a good job. And that way you always know that your guy is going to stand up straight. And yeah, that's very, very important. So anyway, I'm going to use a deep Holler knife. This one here looks like about 1.5 inches, I think it was. Yep, 1.5 inch deep Holler knife, and real nice little knife. So we're ready to start. All right, so I don't care how tall your piece of wood is, if it's 3 inches or 2 inches, or if it's just 1.5 inches. You just do the single owl. But point is, our owl is going to be 1.5 inches. Right? So at 1.5 inches, we're only going to make 2 more marks on this guy, and that's going to be from the top. We're going to come down 1/2 inch and 7/8 from the top. All right, and that's just our beak. So let's keep one in focus here. All right, that's our beak. So starting out, let's just run around and get the base set. All right, just by taking off some bottom corners. We may get dripped on here. We had a major thunderstorm last night, and I'm under a tree, and it's dripping on me, but that's okay. It's not raining, and we're outside. We can hear the birds, so just gonna go around, just setting in the base. All right. Like I said, if this is if you're just gonna do 1.5 inch one, all you're gonna do is just make a little 1/8 of an inch around the bottom, just to get a bit of a swale down to the bottom. All right, but for us with the base, that just tells us where we are. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. Now the bottom of the beak here, I'm just going to do everything straight first. You know how we like to just kind of get everything set so that we know where everything's going to be. All right, so we're just setting in where the beak is. One thing I forgot to do right off the bat was we should mark some center lines on the top here. This one's a little bit important as we get going here. But before we go too far here, let's turn around the back here. And this is the easy part. All we're going to do is about halfway. And we're just going to start rounding the back. Okay, all we're going to do is create this little back arch on our owl. All right, so I want to get that right around to the sides. All right. Right around. And then from about that halfway, we're going to come all the way up to this center line here. All right. You can just see how that goes. So, and now we just chunk it off until we meet our mark. All right. I'm liking these deep Holler knives. I'm also a fan of the new Badger State blades. They're making some nice knives, so we're getting there, folks. We're getting these custom knife makers, getting a nice variety now, so this is really good. All right. So just clean off the back, because when we're done with this back, we're never going to touch it again. That will be it. All right. Clean up the bottom. All right, there we go. We got a little bit of a harder edge there, so we'll just soften that. We just want a nice rounding on the back, okay? All right, now we can knock these corners off here. Let's give it a little, just about 1/8 of an inch on the flat there, just to take off that sharp edge. All right, we'll jump over to the feet here. What I want to do is create a little flat section. Just about 3/8 across in the bottom there, and just give a little area for the feet. All right. And that's all we're going to do there. And now we're going to undercut the beak to give that same plane. All right. Clean that up, make it flat. See that? It's fairly deep. So now when we do the top of the beak, we want to make sure that we cut farther in than under the beak. All right. So I'm going to give this a bit of just a slight angle on that center. If it helps, we can carry that center line down. Not that that's going to last long, but I'm going to come back on it just a little bit of an angle. And we're going to keep that point on the center line there. All right. Same both ways, of course. Yeah, we had a really big storm last night. It woke me up at 1 o'clock till about 2. Thunderstorms and blowing and windy. So it's good. So you can see that? Now, like I said, I want to make sure, see I'm cut farther back than the bottom here, all right? So now I'm just going to take this, set my knife down on the flat, and just go over to that corner. Not critical, just getting the shape in there, all right? Okay. See the top? Okay, we'll do it again. And then one more time with the eyes. Let's give a little bit more space. There we go. Now with our beak here, we're going to end up to a point at the bottom. So I'm just going to draw some lines on each side. And I'm just going to run my knife down to that point, touching the bottom, and come over the side like that. Come down, touching the bottom, not the top, just the bottom. All right, there's our beak. Now we'll just clean up those edges. So we got no cut lines beside. And we'll just kind of shape that beak down. All right, it's a little bit wonky on this side, so I'll just straighten her out. All right, we come take a line down and a little bit up, like so. But look at, it's still a little bit off, so I'll trim a little bit more off this side. Get a little bit more point on the bottom. I think we're good. getting distracted by the birds behind me. All right, that's it. I want to get this top edge over to that center line. So, kind of like we did in the back. You say, what kind of owl is this? This is a Heinz 57 owl. No owl in particular. It just has that owl vibe, right? So our center mark is still in the top there, okay? Now this is the fun part. All we're going to do here is we're going to dig our knife in and swoop up to the outside. We're going to create a little horn, little owl horn. Yeah. If your knife is too thick, you can sometimes just kind of pull your knife as you go. But don't try to turn too hard and get that chatter. And I always find after I've gone one way like this, it really pays off to turn it around and go the other way, because we don't do things perfectly symmetrical. Right. So there we got a couple of these little horn looking things on our owl. All right. As you can see here, you can see right in the midst of our beak here, it's going to draw a line, right, just to the edge. All right. And right there, right from that little 1/8 inch plane that we made here, it's going to take a V cut in, right, and then right over to the beak, the same thing. Yeah. Like so. And cut there. Get out. Right. And same thing on this side. And right over to the beak. I forgot my safety lesson. Always wear a safety glove when you're doing small stuff like this. As I say, do as I say, not as I do. All right. And I like to cut clean, so every time I see a little piece of chatter or something, I'll just recut it, so that I never have to go back and do it again. All right. Cleaning up as we go. All right. Okay, I can look at this now. I can say this one's a little bit deeper than that side, so I'm just going to come over. Always look at it and keep it symmetrical. You can jump around, it's okay. Little sharp points we don't like, because if we paint them, they break first, right? So, okay. Now, all I'm going to do is come down on each side. Just going to draw a wing, and coming off that back here. Size isn't that important in this case, just as long as they're the same. So I'm going to lay my knife down on that cut there, and I'm just going to come around. Right? We'll stop cutting the bottom, come the opposite way. Right? Take that point off of there and just clean it up. You can see we got a real sharp edge here. I'm just going to take that sharp edge off with my knife. All right. And we'll do the same thing on this side, coming around. Around. Take the point off of there. Take the sharp edge off the back side. All right. And then we'll do the same thing on the front. Stick my knife in. Come around. Stop cut. Stop cut. Here I'm just going to come in sideways. Like so. Take the sharp edges off. We'll leave the center until we've done both sides. come around here. Stop cut, and slide her down. Take the sharp edge off here. Now, when we look straight at this, our wings are vertical. Let's see how I got these. I taper them down a little bit. So leave a little bit of a shoulder, and we'll just come down a little bit. Just kind of giving them a bit of a shoulder. That's it. Same on this side. All right. There. Okay, now we got a real pointy chest area here. So we're going to round as much as we can. We're going to take those feet just down a bit of an angle. Whether they come to the edge or not, depending. This is what, here, let me show you something. So when I oil these, I don't actually have to bring the feet down or over to the wing. But when I paint them, it's nice to have a paint edge. So then I will bring the feet over to the wing, and then you give a nice paint edge. But if you're just gonna blend the feet in with the body, you don't have to come straight in. But anyway, that's an aside. And then when we look at the whole owl as a whole, we'd like him to have maybe a little bit of a proud chest. So a little bit lower in the bottom. All right. And then with all of our carving, every time we have an opportunity, we should make a little chip cuts to give a little extra shadow. Just pop little corners out, just to create a little more shadow. All right. There you go. We can do it down here too if we want. Shadow is your friend. There you go. Okay. We can find center here. Split that foot. Get a little V cut here. Pop that out. Same thing from above. A little V cut. Take it out that way. And just kind of knock the tips off. All right. Didn't bring my brush out, but that's the idea. Okay, now before we get to the eyes, you can see for no reason whatsoever I've made these little V cuts underneath the little horns there. All right. So what we're going to do here is just give yourself about 1/8 of an inch and just make a V cut. Leave enough room for a smaller V cut. Like so. All right. Same thing on this side. Just any little chance to add a little cut that's simple enough. Remember, this is a quick, fun, easy carve. We're not going to spend a day on this. In fact, it's a great little coffee break carve. All right. I'll do like halfway the same. And if you want to go around, you can just kind of take those sharp edges off. Take the corner, and come up to them. And that just softens that cut, but it also gives it a little more character. Right. The birds are pretty active this morning. Mind you, it's pretty early. I'm not sure if it's 8 o'clock yet in the morning, so. There we go. All right. Eyeballs. We mark our center line. All right. All we're gonna do. Now let me stop you. Let me stop. This one here, I just made one ring, one arch. All right. 2 eyeballs, 1 arch. Okay. This one here, I made 2. I made one higher than the other, which is always kind of fun. You can have them looking off. You see that? What have I done different? This is two bumps, not separated. All right. And then we finally got into 1 arch, 2 eyes, and separated. So, excuse me. What I settled on is just the double arch separated eyes on these. So we might as well do that again. All right. So as you can see, it doesn't really matter if they are exactly the same or not. We can play with our eyeballs any way we like. So just gonna stick my knife in there, a little bit of an angle, and then just kind of kick it out at the bottom. I'll start kicked out, and then just come back around. All right. A little stop cut in the corners. Take the chip out. Stop cut in the corner. Pop the chip out. Come across the top. Both of them. All right. Down the side. Side. All right. Now we'll come down each side of the eyeball. A little V cut. A little stop cut in the bottom. All right. Now we'll just round that up. Make our eyeballs round. And knock off our pencil marks. All right. You can spend some time here and make them real nice and pretty round. All right. But I got pencil marks on there. All right. That's our eyeballs. So we can go around. We can take the edges off of the little cheek areas here. Something else I was doing too is just for a little look at that eyeball. See how it's flat across there. If you want to put your knife down here, just flick it up on each side. Just flick it up. All right. Maybe a little. Okay. Doesn't add much space on, but when you look on the side, now you can see a little bit of a little flare. But there you go. Let's make some eyeballs in here. We'll have him looking up in this way. Isn't that funny how they get character as soon as you put an eyeball in there? There you go. Like I said, make sure it's a nice clean carving. Let's go around. Clean it up, but that is our simple little owl. You know, in the past we've done extra little, little details on the chest area and stuff, but this one here is just a very simplistic and minimalist. And I don't think it's missing much. I think to add more to it complicates it, and it doesn't, I don't know. I just love it as a simple little carving. So now if you want to, like I said, you can go up, put a chimney under it. You can put a log under a stick, fire hydrant, you can put an owl on top of a 10-inch piece of stick for all I care. It's just, there we go. Just clean that up a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Or just do a little single. But fun little carving. I really like it. Obviously, I got carried away with it. Like, honest to goodness, these became coffee break carvings, and I think for a quick little carving, this one's going to be hard to beat. So that's it. So there you have it, folks. There's our little owl. Fun little carve, quick and easy, simple, and yeah, you'll be a hero to the kids. So big thanks again to our sponsor, Wood Carving Illustrated. Make sure you check out the link in the description, and yeah, use a promo code Linker and get your little free little goodies with your subscription. So that's it. We'll see what comes next, but yeah, give her a go, have fun with it, and hey, happy Canada Day, everybody. See you guys.